What's up, everybody? This is Jude from Section 122 on ArgosEndzone.com, getting you ready for your Week 2 action as the Argos travel out west take on the Riders. As always, you can click the See More button down below to jump to the chapter you're interested in looking at. Speaking of looking at, let's take a look back at Week 1 and get things started. Wow. Week 1 was huge for the Argos. They dominated the Eskimos in every facet of the game. Tip of the cap to Mr. Trevor Harris, who this guy said last week was a methodical moving the chains down the field guy, decided to rack up 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns on his way to becoming Outstanding Player of the Week on offense. Put on a heck of a show, hitting guys over the middle and deep. The Eskimos had no answer for where he was putting the ball. It was fantastic. On defense, they stomped them. There was the safety there on the first Eskimos possession, and that was a sign of things to come as Edmonton could get no offense going. Mike Riley went down with the injury, which is never good. You want to beat your best opponent at their best, so we hope for a quick recovery there for him, as this league is better with all the stars are playing. But speaking of injuries and stars, Swayze Waters ended up on the disabled list with it was a quad or a hip, someone with his leg, which is bad for a kicker. So we'll have to see how the Argos adjust to that as the weeks progress. Last week I said keep an eye on Brandon Whitaker on offense and Jermaine Gabriel on defense. Both guys made huge impacts and contributions, with Whitaker the touchdown over 100-plus yards of total offense, and Gabriel once again all over the place, making life miserable for receivers coming up the middle through the deep end. This week finds the Argos in Saskatchewan to take on the Roughriders. Now, of course, Riderville will be there in full force, and you can't underestimate the impact of a home crowd like that, who is hungry for a win and some positive things happening on the field after losing Darian Durant for the season last week. As I said, this league is a lot better when all the stars are playing, so we hope that Darian Durant has a quick and speedy recovery to come back and make a strong impact next season. In the meantime, the ball goes to Kevin Glenn, who the Argos have got history beating in big games. 100th Grey Cup, anybody? But is definitely a quality quarterback who's going to get wins for the green and white. So let's just hope it's not this week. I think that what you're going to see is, I'm hoping anyways, is we're going to see more of what the Argos brought last week in terms of an incredibly balanced attack on offense, making it very difficult to key on any one thing. So hopefully that will keep defensive lineman John Chick out of the mix. I'd like to see him with no stats. That's going to be a good result for the Argos. And then on defense, as Glenn gets more familiar with his receivers, gives the opportunity for the Argos to tee off on him. Again, the pincer attack of Okpulugo and Ricky Foley returning to Saskatchewan for the first time since the offseason trade. I'm hoping to make life miserable there. We'll have to keep aware of Jerome Messam and the running game for Saskatchewan. Always, it's a cliche, but with a quarterback you're not sure how he's going to gel with the offense, you go to the running game. And Messam had a heck of a week last week. So the Argos are going to have to be aware of that big body, make sure they put him on the ground on a regular basis, because if he gets rolling, he's really tough to stop. And you're going to see different kickers on both sides of the field as Saskatchewan signed long-term veteran Paul McCallum to a contract there this past week after being released by the BC Lions. And the Argos are experimenting with a brand new rookie kicker. Well, it'll be really interesting to see how the special teams play out on both sides again this week. Who should you be keeping an eye on this week? On offense, I think you're going to take a look at Trevor Harris. Is last week a fluke? Is it just a blip on the screen? Or is a sign of things to come as he progresses into this role for this season? Put on a heck of a show against Edmonton with a very strong defense, and you're talking, statistically, Saskatchewan isn't quite as strong, but they do have some those players at those different stages, right? You've got Chick at the defensive line, you've got recently acquired in the offseason Shea Emery from the Argos at linebacker, and then Brackenridge in the defensive backfield. And you get those 3 levels, it can make things challenging for an opposing quarterback. Although Edmonton had those 3 levels. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how Trevor Harris progresses this week. On defense, you got to watch number 95, Ricky Foley. The guy plays with a lot of passion anyways, but this is also his first game back in Saskatchewan after playing for the Roughriders for 2 years, bringing them their latest Grey Cup. He repeatedly stated how much he enjoyed the passion of Riderville, and he's definitely looking forward to performing in front of them again, and he's looking to make a big impression. I think this is going to be a heck of a Ricky Foley game. Keep an eye on number 95 when defense is on the field. So when it comes to predicting a final score for this week, my first thought is to look back at what happened last week for both teams in terms of the Argos really dominating all three facets of the game, Saskatchewan struggling at home against Winnipeg. You factor in the Glen, now, Glen with an extra week of practice for first team snaps will benefit from this. But I'm still thinking, based on the trends that are going, and we all know that trends happen all the time in sports, I think that the Argos are coming out on top, and this could be another bigger spread here. So I'm going to go with a 32-21 Argos win today. That'll wrap things up here for week 2. Hope you had some fun. Again, leave some comments down below. Let us know what you like or didn't like as we keep evolving this channel for you. Make sure you follow us on the social media platforms. We've got the Twitter, we got Facebook, we got YouTube. Keep an eye out for all that. In the meantime, kickoff is 3:30 this afternoon, Sunday afternoon, Eastern time, so get yourself in front of a TV there, get your TS on. If you happen to be out on the road, again, a tip of the cap to everybody that made the trip out to Fort McMurray last week for the Northern kickoff. Respect, folks. Anybody's going there to Riderville. I don't know how hospitable that building is to visiting teams, but you gotta love that atmosphere. So, let's enjoy the game, shall we? And until next time, this is Juke from Section 122 on Argos.